Yeah, so club volleyball, in my view, is a bit more intense than recreational volleyball. When you get to club volleyball, it's a lot more focused on technique and skill, and you can see some of these teams that we played in our first season that are really talented clubs who really know what they're doing, and it's really impressive to watch.
My name is Diaz. I'm the Diaz Hall Director as well as the Assistant Volleyball Coach here at Luther.
Hi, my name is Drew Jaeger. I am a senior on the men's club volleyball team. I am the president and founder of the club, and I was the setter for most of the season before I transitioned to an outside hitter towards the end. So the idea for this club, we were playing sand volleyball all the time, and we just thought, you know, why don't we just make this an actual club sport here?
Drew Jaeger was actually the one that kind of approached me to kind of see what we could do, kind of get men's volleyball started.
And then it was my junior year, Diaz became the assistant coach for the women's team, and he actually approached me about my interest in wanting to have a men's club volleyball team.
So we had a few open gyms in the spring of 2023.
So initially our goals were to just create a space to foster a community of people who love to play volleyball, and we didn't really care too much about the skill level of everyone involved. We started to see that we had some pretty decent talent on the team, and so those goals of just wanting to play and have fun became goals of wanting to compete and wanting to win games.
And being able to kind of become known as more of a volleyball community at Luther.
Coaching a team of guys who don't really know what they're doing was a journey for me.
We really harped on getting the basics done first before we actually got into actual gameplay. Which was a very slow process, especially with very new beginners that had no idea how to put their hands together when they passed, were not sure of how to jump and hit at the same time. Being able to kind of go through that progression of one beginner status to being able to compete with a lot of teams that have played for about 10 years together.
We had a few student managers, girls who play on the women's volleyball team here at Luther. They stepped in as student managers and helped out with practices and a little bit of coaching. And something that we did struggle with was more in the technical aspect, which was not surprising since it was our first year. We still have a lot to learn.
We also, once we got into gameplay, we really struggled with kind of that confidence piece as well. Being a brand new team, we kind of got intimidated pretty easily. Being from a beginner to trying to compete against other teams that have been established for a while is not easy, and I think we kind of held our own. I think that we were learning a lot and learning fast.
So I think that our sense of community was definitely our strongest aspect of this team. I mean, some of my closest friends now are on the volleyball team, and I would not have spent nearly as much time with them if I was not a part of this club.
It just kind of happened, like especially when we started traveling, like people are just friendly. You kind of have to be when you're in a tight enclosed space like a van for hours on end.
In the weeks leading up to the first tournament, I was nervous, but I was a little excited as well. It's fun to play.
Yeah, those weeks leading up to that first tournament, I was just excited, and no matter what, I was going to come out learning something.
The first two tournaments were very fun. It was enjoyable to win our first match for sure. I think that put some ease, especially on me and the rest of the team. But it was a lot to adapt to club volleyball culture. It was a big learning curve for our team. But it was fun to just get to play as a team and be competitive.
Let's go, Lawson!
In the middle of the season, we did lose our starting setter.
We were playing Oshkosh, I believe, and our setter was in the front row. It was me. I was the setter. I was in the front row, and I went up for a block, and one of their outside hitters hit the ball really hard, and I tore a ligament in my thumb.
He had to go get it checked out by a trainer, and we were really panicking at the moment because we weren't sure if we were going to have a setter because we had to train no one else in.
So I proceeded to play 2 more full matches with a torn ligament in my thumb, which definitely did not help it at all. When we came back, I let Coach Diaz know, and he was like, well, I guess we have to figure out what we're doing now.
It's never good to hear that your captain gets injured. So when I found out Drew hurt his thumb, I was pretty nervous for the team. I think everyone stepped up. Because after Drew was injured, it took the whole team. It's not like we could just replace Drew with another setter. But I was gracious enough to take the opportunity to set, which was a big learning curve for me and for the rest of the team as well.
It was a rough start. I think he really, one, he was never a setter. 2, transitioning from commanding the defense to now commanding the offense is completely opposite. We ended up using him. The first tournament was quite rough. I think we were just trying to do a little bit too much too early with him.
But as we got more comfortable playing, we gained more confidence and built our way back up until in our final tournament of the season, we ended up taking second in the bracket that we were placed in, which for us was a huge win. And I remember talking with Coach Diaz near the beginning of the season. I remember saying that my goal for the team was to not get last in the conference tournament, and we in fact did not get last in the conference tournament. There were, I think, 14 teams in our conference, and we placed 10th, I believe. Pretty good for our first season, and definitely better than I was expecting for a team of guys made up of players who have spent less than a year working on the techniques for volleyball. So I'm very, very proud of how this team finished their season.
I felt like I just appreciated the opportunity to do things, just to get the opportunity to do stuff in this environment that's relatively pressure-free. That's just like the best thing I could ask for when it comes to a club like this.
Just being able to be a part of something, being able to be myself, be part of a team, and be competitive, super fun experience.
It's been a fun experience for everyone. I think being able to kind of lead this group has been amazing for the fact that I've been able to kind of build relationships and build things from the ground up. And I mean, the guys that have been involved have been very committed, and if it weren't for their interest, it wouldn't be possible to kind of have this team together, and wouldn't be able to fight for a varsity position as well within the sports realm.